So it's kind of one of those stores where we drive by every day and see it and say, man, that's a beautiful store. We should be in there. We're super excited to have your guys' partnership to sell our mattresses now. All right, so I'm going to go through a little presentation. I printed it out for you in your folders, and then you both have pens. So if you just want to kind of follow along, and then if you have any questions, write them down, and that way I can get through everything, and then you guys can ask away for as long as you need to. We are happy to put on the floor at Mathis Brothers. You guys have our preferred collection, which is our national line and our best-selling line. And you guys have the navy blue coloring, so it's called the Maritime collection. We're going to kind of go over a brief little history of Heirloom, talk about our patented lift and how we make our mattresses, some of the unique components that we have in our mattresses, and then the specific mattresses that you carry, and then kind of tell you about our media campaigns, and then open it up for questions at the end. Heirloom has been around for over 75 years. We were started in 1940 by a gentleman named King Carpin. We kind of started out as the celebrity bed. People talk about Elizabeth Taylor, Frank Sinatra, Ronald Reagan had them shipped to the White House. That's a big famous story that everyone knows. But now we're kind of getting away from being the celebrity bed, even though we still do sell to a lot of them. We are selling a lifestyle now. So our branding statement is California design, handmade. So you guys live in California, you live where everybody wants to. It's, you know, our marketing pictures are of, you know, the beach and laying on the bed looking at your view in Malibu. It's a luxurious brand, and we want to sell it that way rather than kind of going back towards we're the celebrity bed and that kind of a thing. What makes our bed so different is our patent. So nobody makes a bed like Heirloom because of how our patent works. On your little mini bun, this is going to be kept in your store. It's a little cutout, and it shows all the different components of it. So the patent has three main components. One is that we don't use inner panel in our mattresses. And by that, this is inner panel. Most people put inner panel on top of the coils to hold them in place, and we don't use any inner panel on top of our coils. The second part is that each layer is layered one on top of the other and not glued together. And the third part is our tufting, how we tuft our mattresses and hold them together. Starting talking off about our coils. So in all of your beds, you have an individually wrapped coil. It's either going to be a firm 13 3/4 gauge or a plush 15 gauge. I don't really care that you memorize the numbers, but if you remember that firm beds have firm coils and plush beds have plush coils, that's going to be the first difference when people ask you, why is this bed softer than this bed? The first thing is you either have firm coils or plush coils. We make our coils in the factory. We don't buy them from a third party. We do that for a number of reasons. Number one, we can make coils to our specifications. We don't just have to buy whatever Leggett & Platt is offering or whoever else is making coils. We can say, this is the feel we want in our bed, and this is how we want to make it, and we can make it there. The second part is, because we're not buying from a third-party company, it keeps the cost down. So that's why we do that. Our coils are encased in a plant-based foam encasement. So what I mean by that is we are an eco-friendly company, and we try and use more eco-friendly natural materials. So we've taken out some of the petroleum in the foam, and we've infused back in plant-based foam or plant-based oil, so like a soybean oil or something like that. The density in the foam encasement is also about twice what anybody else will have on your floor. So it's a really good, solid, sturdy edge. I know beds aren't made for sitting on, but people do sometimes sit on the edge and they don't want to feel like they're sliding off. So when they sit on our edges, there's a really sturdy feel to them. The open chamber design. So the open chamber design is how we layer our materials. So you see this little pocket in here. This is what we call the open chamber. This is where we'll put down a layer of coils or a layer of cotton, another layer of latex, and it's a little pocket that will hold everything in there. And then when we make our mattresses in two pieces, so then when we sew on the top of the mattress, we just lay everything on top of there and sew these edges together. So what most other manufacturers will do is put a layer down, put some glue, put a layer down, put some glue. We're not doing that. We're just free floating the layers. And the reason you do that is so that you get the benefit of the coils and the comfort layers. So if I were to put a piece of hard foam or non-stretch fabric over the coils, you're not getting the full benefit of them. If you put this piece of inner panel over here and stretch it, you can feel that these coils are restricted. Our coils aren't restricted, so you're allowing them to do their job. If you put a piece of non-stretch fabric or foam over the top, then you're making the comfort layers do some of the work of the support. So coils are made for support, foams are made for comfort. These aren't made for support, and if you make them do work that they're not made to do, they're gonna break down faster, they're gonna sag faster. When people tell you that they're sleeping in a hole, it's probably because these foams are having to do the work that these coils are supposed to do.
What kind of metal is that? What are those coils?
It's tempered steel. Yeah, double tempered steel. And then each product in our factory is bench made and handmade. You guys probably know from some of the sofas that you sell here, bench made, there's someone actually making that one piece. It's not an assembly line of pieces. There's someone whose job it is, when we sew the fabric in here, we use black thread on the white background so that someone can go through and make sure nothing's skipping. That we're not sending out inferior product because our sewing machine didn't tailor it properly, and then we have a defective bed because we rushed through it. So there's somebody who looks at every single detail and every single process down the line. They're sitting there doing it one by one. It's not just one big assembly line of machines. We also do something very different in that we quilt to tricot. So tricot is a cotton fabric, and it's stretchy like pantyhose, where everybody else quilts to inner panel. So you can see there's no stretch in here, but there is a lot of stretch and give in here. So why we do that is so that if I was sitting here talking about how we don't put any non-stretch fabrics over our coils, and we don't put any glues and non-stretch fabrics in between our comfort layers, and then at the very end we quilt to a non-stretch fabric, it wouldn't make any sense. The great thing about our beds is that you conform and you really get the benefit of all of the stuff you're paying for, the coils, the comfort layers. So you can't really see it, but the quilt back here is quilted to this tricot material, which is going to allow you to really get down in and allow you to conform into the bed rather than right on top of the quilt having a stiff feeling and not really getting the benefit of these comfort layers. And then tencel is what we put on the top of our bed. So tencel is natural fiber as well, made from wood pulp. We infuse ours with lycra. So if you feel the top of it, lots of beds have tencel tops. If you feel the top of ours, it's definitely the stretchiest on the market because of the lycra that we infuse into it. It's super cooling and super just luxurious feeling. And then how we talked about before, we don't use any glues or anything to hold our beds together. Our beds are held together by tufting. So we tuft from the top of the bed, through the comfort layers, through the coils, all the way to the bottom of the mattress. So if you flip these mattresses up, you'll see the tufts right through there. I'm not strong enough to pick them all up, but it is functionally tufted. There are other mattress manufacturers that have tufts on their beds. They're decorative tufts. They still put glue in between all of their layers, so if you took their tufts out and tipped the bed on its side, they would still stay together. If you took our tufts out of our bed and tipped it on its side, our beds would fall down, because that's what holds it together. There are a few great benefits about tufting. So the first one being that it's going to reduce body impressions. So how it does that is our beds are on average 14 and a half inches tall when they hit the floor. Before they're tufted, they're on average 18 inches. So that allows us to put more materials in there, and then our beds have something called false loft eliminated. So our beds are 18 inches. We put them in a hydraulic press, we tuft them, and then we let it go. So our beds, rather than any other bed, when it hits the floor, that's as tall as it's ever going to be. and it's only gonna go down from there. Our beds were 1 to 4 inches taller than when they hit the floor, and they're constantly trying to pop back up to where they started. So because we're reducing that false loft, it's gonna lift and support because it's always trying to get back up and push up, and that's what we call our heirloom lift. So it's a supportive and really sturdy bed. So when we, you're still gonna have to rotate it just because that's, good practice, especially if you have, a big giant husband and a tiny little wife. But it's gonna reduce the deep rotting impressions by a ton. And the second great thing is that, like I said, there's no glues holding it all together. So that's gonna give the bed a completely different feel than a glued layer upon a glued layer and a big foam blob at the end, rather than our free floated layers that are now just tufted together. I put a picture in there of one side of the tufted bed and one side of a not tufted bed, just so you can see. And I know that we are going to start doing, I think starting next month, we're going to start doing factory tours, and then I'll get with your managers and kind of, groups of 3 or 4 people at a time, because watching these guys tuft these beds all day is, it's like game changing. You understand more like a handmade bed and the quality of the tufting. Our craftsmen, like I said, they're paid on the clock. We're not paid by piece, so we're not asking them to rush through it and just get the bed done and get it out. We don't have a warehouse full of beds. When you guys order a bed, we make it. So if you guys order it by Monday, we can get it to you by Friday, but we can't rush a bed over because it's made to order. We don't just pull pieces that have been sitting in a warehouse forever. They're brand new, made for your customer. Some of the awesome features that I'm going to talk about in these beds are going to be microcoils, quilted cotton, Celsium Plus latex, and then graphite memory foam. The first thing is microcoils. Does anybody know where the microcoils are in the bed? Most manufacturers put their microcoils in the top layer. We don't do that. We found that when you put microcoils on top of a bunch of foam, you get a lot of motion transfer. So the whole point of individually wrapped coils is less motion transfer. All these tufting, less motion transfer. If we put our microcoils right on the first layer on top of our coils, so it's a more sturdy feel. You have steel on steel rather than foam on steel and then coils in the top. So we have 2 gauges of microcoils that are in your mattresses. So a 17 gauge and a 19 gauge. If you're ever wondering why the counts are different, we can fit more of the 19 gauge coils in there. And then in your top bed, your Eureka, and they have a double layer of microcoils. So in a king size, this has over 5,800 coils in it. So if you're trying to, impress people that are obsessed with coil counts, that is a lot of steel in that bed. That's a lot of support, and that's gonna, stand the test of time. What's gonna last longer, steel or foam? So this is an amazing bed that we've never done that before with the double microcoils. And then it's also going to help you sleep cooler because if the first layer over the coils, in the past we've used memory foam, this year we're using microcoils, you can get more air through there. It's a breathable fabric rather than a piece of non-breathable foam over there. So we've really changed these beds to be a more natural story, a more breathable story. The natural cotton. This is like huge for you guys. So this is the first time that we've ever had quilted cotton in beds with this price point. We make a bed called the Carpet Collection, which is a step above these beds. Those start at about $10,000 to $15,000, and those have the organic cotton in them. So you guys are getting a collection of quilted cotton for these prices, which is crazy huge that they were able to do this for you. The cotton is quilted, and it's going to be right above the microcoil layer. And it is quilted so that it'll stay together and it won't, move and shift and all of that. Cotton's breathable, it's natural, it's moisture wicking, and it really gives the beds a more substantial feel. In years past when we haven't used the cotton, some people say, they feel like they hammock too much, that they conform too much into the bed, which is what they're made for. But this really gives it a solid foundation. Cotton is, super durable. I sleep on a bed that's packed with cotton and it's 23 years old and it's perfect. So it's one of those materials materials that stand the test of time, and when people say, you know, they don't make things like they used to, that's how they used to make beds with cotton, and they would last forever. Celsius plus latex. So latex is also a natural component, natural sap from the rubber tree, and we use a towel-lay process for our latex. So I'm sure all of you have other latex beds on the floor. We use towel-lay process because that is the gold standard. That gives you the most consistent feel of latex, so that when they make a latex mold, that bottom layer feels just like the top layer. That ensures that when the customer gets their bed in the home, that bed is going to feel like the bed that they have on their home floor, rather than, oh my gosh, this feels way firmer, way softer. You know, it's gonna provide that consistent feel. We infuse our latex with a material called Celsius Plus. So what that is a phase change material. What I mean by that is, you want to have a good night's sleep. You want to have an ambient body temperature. You don't need cooling. You don't need warming, because if you think about it, if you get too cold at night, what do? You wake up, you put the blanket on, put some socks on. If you get too warm at night, you wake up, crank the AC, throw the blanket off. The point is that you woke up because you weren't an ambient body temperature. So what phase change material does is it releases heat when the body temperature drops, and it absorbs heat when the body temperature raises, to keep you the same temperature at night. And I put a little diagram in there too that kind of shows how much cooler you sleep on the Celsius Plus than a regular Dunlop process latex. Latex is ventilated and it's breathable, and it's also the best pressure relieving material on the market. So it's a great answer for, you know, Tempur-Pedic makes a remarkable bed. Some people don't like the sinking memory foam feeling. Latex is the answer to that. It is pressure relieving for all those people that, you know, my shoulder's killing me, my hips are killing me, but I don't, it's hard for me to get in and out of that bed. Latex is a very buoyant material, and that is kind of the answer to, you know, that objection of, you know, Tempur-Pedic, it's nice, but I don't like that feeling. Let's see. And then graphite memory foam. That is offered in your top bed over here, and the graphite memory foam in this bed is actually in the quilt. So a 3.5 pound density foam, most people will put in one of their comfort layers, and we're quilting to that. So the back of our, right above the tricot, there will be graphite memory foam in the quilt. So I almost say that it's like a bed on top of a bed. Like this is your kitchen sink bed. They couldn't have put any more in there. It gives this bed a completely unique feel, and it's it's soft but very, very, very supportive. And then graphite also helps with a cleaner sleep, in that it acts like a natural filter. So I kind of explained it how a charcoal filter in a fish tank cleans it. It's just one of those, graphite is one of those natural filters that'll, you know, trap in and filter through any like dust or anything if anything were to get in your bed. But obviously they're probably going to buy a mattress pick. You guys have 4 beds. So you have the Carnelian, the Doheny, the Isla Vista, and the Eureka. The Carnelian is kind of your starter bed. It's a luxury firm, which I kind of say is medium. This is the only bed on your floor that will not have the microcoils in it. It does have cotton and latex, but starting with your Doheny, all 3 of these beds will have your microcoils, and this one will have your double layer of microcoils. The difference is going to be, so you guys have a luxury firm, which is a medium, plush, you guys haven't switched, plush, another firm, and then this is a plush. So there are a couple of differences between these. So this one is only going to have 1 layer of latex, this one has 2. This is called a streamline, and this is called a Lux top, like our version of a pillow top. So if anybody ever sees that material, or on your customers are saying like, I saw a blah 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 streamline, whatever, that means it's just the tape edges. So 1 tape edge, streamline, 2 tape edges, Lux top. And that would be the difference between 2 layers of latex or 1 layer of latex. And then we really want to make sure that everybody knows about our marketing campaign. So Heirloom has kind of been a company that has been under the radar, And 3 or 4 years ago, we were purchased by a company called the Flex Corporation out of Spain, and they've really helped us with our marketing and our advertising. So now we advertise in Architectural Digest, Veranda, the Rob Report, and people will come in with those magazines and ask. I'll bring you guys some copies too that you guys can keep at the store. And then we are starting to run television commercials. So for big events like 4th of July, Labor Day, Black Friday, that kind of a thing, we're running national TV ads that we've never done before. And those have been really great with getting customers into the store and what is this heirloom brand? You know, we've never heard of, you know, everybody knows the S brands and tempur-pedic, but we're kind of really trying to get it out there so that they come in and ask. And then our biggest push is our social media. So Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram. If people are ever, you know, Googlers or they go on review sites, have them go to our Facebook page. We have a great rating on our Facebook page. Goodbed.com is one that we also have a great rating on. That's an unbiased site. And then if you guys ever have any like great experiences, we implore you to post it on Facebook. Ask your customer, you know, that came in and said, "Oh my God, I love my bed." You know, lay on it and post it and tag us, and then we can get it out there. They've had great results from other stores where they'll come in and say, "Oh my gosh, I saw that Bob sold, you know, Tina a mattress, and can I talk to Bob? I want the same mattress that she had." And it's getting people back in and referring. You know, Kylie Jenner just bought her third one, and you know, when she puts things on Instagram, how many millions of people see that? And not that you know that we care about Kylie Jenner, but we're getting our name out there, and people, you know, the more people that know about it, the more people that will come and ask about it. So we really, really, really want you guys to post on social media and go on and like us and that kind of a thing. Okay, hope I'm going on time. What questions do you guys have for me?
Two questions. First of all, turnaround time. Do you know how they're?
You guys order by 9 a.m. Monday, and you can get it by Friday.
Do you know what truck lines are bringing it down?
It should be our own trucks.
You have your own trucks?
Mm-hmm. Sometimes they'll have to LTL it, just depending on.
Yeah, I guess the thing I just want to reinforce when you're in Ontario, you really don't want to transfer the goods to Ontario.
No, you guys do your own ordering separate.
I believe Robin is mainly ordering it for us on Monday, and we'll be getting it the following Tuesday.
So you're saying the turnaround time will be good?
Turnaround time, very good.
Okay.
And you guys did order stock to start with, so you
So
guys.
just as a point of information, in the Coachella Valley, who else carries heirloom?
You guys don't have? Do you have a sit and sleep out here anywhere? No.
Banner?
Yes, yeah, we have a sit and sleep.
Yeah,
Sit and sleep, I've seen one somewhere.
Mattress Firm,
Mattress
Banner.
Firm, we do not sell to.
We have a sit
Okay.
and sleep out here.
If there's a sit and sleep, I don't call on that account, so I don't know exactly, you know, what they
There's
have.
one,
but-
I think there's one in Palm Desert or Ranch
So you're
Mirage.
saying
in
the
that area.
Banners, Mattress Warehouse,
No.
Ashley,
No.
or any of them, they do not carry it?
No, sir.
Okay, that's fine.
Macy's has nothing like your beds. They have what they call hotel collection, completely different materials. They don't have the cotton. Their bed that has cotton in it is like $9,000.
But is it advertised as heirloom?
No, it's advertised as hotel.
It's advertised what?
Hotel is their like
Okay,
house
okay.
brand.
Good. Good.
Yes,
What's the warranty?
10 years, non-prorated, to 1.5 inches. You know, I've sold them for 8 years before I even started to work for Heirloom, and I've only ever had to take back 2. So I'm, you know, pretty confident in our warranty. We also do like-for-like beds. So if in 9 years and 9 months they get a warranty claim, we're going to make them a like bed rather than saying, well, now you have to buy a bed that's, you know, $4,000 more or whatever. If they want that same bed, we can do that for them. If you guys want to sell them a higher bed, then absolutely.
They would be going through you for that,
Yes.
not their Mathis.
Well, they go through you, and then you guys put the claim through.
So you're telling us no one else carries them here in the Coachella Valley. That'll be a nice selling feature. Good thing.
Amy, what if somebody's allergic to latex?
So when we process it, the Talay process actually washes away those proteins. So it's not. That's what people are allergic to is the proteins in latex.
Okay.
They're not actually allergic to the foam. You know, the latex foam in it. It's the proteins.
They all have latex.
Yeah.
All
Mhm.
big thing we run into here, and you can
Thank you.
appreciate it, is beds that are cool. You think this will stand up to?
Absolutely. You know, cotton, latex, Tenseal, it's all cooler than non-breathable memory foams. You know, you can infuse it with gel, it still doesn't breathe. Everybody, you know, you wear a cotton shirt. Why do you wear a cotton shirt rather than a polyester shirt? Because it breathes, it's cooler. That's materials that are natural and breathable are going to be much cooler than any kind of foam. They're all adjustable base friendly. Hopefully we'll have our adjustable bases on the floor soon. But they can all go on any base that you guys sell here.
You say
Heirlooms will
you
be
don't.
touched. I'm sorry, I didn't get it in
No.
there. We're gonna be using the rubbery adjustable bases that's heirloom use. We all remember rubbery from when we had it with Lady Marathon.
So Heirloom does not make any of
We have
their
one
own
base we
towels?
offer, Reverie makes it for us.
On the bottom of the info signs here, it mentions the box springs.
Oh yeah, the semi-flex grid box springs, I guess it says they're on your signs. All the box springs are going to be semi-flex, so it'll be wood and metal on the bottom, but it has that little bit of give for each mattress. It's not completely just like a piece of plywood.
And then associate discount?
That part is up to Mathis Brothers. So
Okay.
associate, lots of people have asked me about the associate program. Heirloom has a program where you guys can buy the beds at 25% below wholesale, and we don't make you do it like just in August, like Tempur-pedic. You can do one set a year per associate. We're just trying to get that cleared through your company first, if that's okay for you guys to participate in that.
If we hear anything, we'll pass it on to you guys.
Absolutely. Oh, the other exciting thing is Carrie, your guys' buyer, they are offering the first heirloom that you sell in the month of July. They're going to do a 15% spiff on it. Each bed at $6,000. That's a $900 spiff. You can sell this in a king, so that's not nothing. Yeah. So everybody sell this bed.
No, we don't.
In a king. Yeah. So that's pretty exciting too.
So laying on that one.
Yeah, so we'll start here. I mean, and honestly, our beds are brand new here, so I would always start, you know, I don't know your guys' sale process, but start them on the heirloom. And you have a great opportunity now just to say, hey, we just got these new beds on the floor. Will you tell me what you think? You know, start them on the medium feel, and then if they want to move to a plush, move to a plush, or a firmer, move into the firmer. And then, you know, are they going to buy my bed every time? Absolutely not, but they will buy a better bed because they're going to chase this feel. This feel is not anything that you can get on any other bed. So they can step themselves down, but eventually they're gonna, you know, step themselves up, and it might not be mine, but it's gonna be a better bed for you guys. Rather than, you know, I know I've watched some people at other stores, you know, if they have a bad bed at home and then you start them on a $7.99, it's gonna feel amazing because they have a bad bed at home.
That's
And
why we start with the better off.
right, yeah, that's why, you know, and now you can just say, will you just give me your opinion and start them on these beds, just to kind of, you know, get some feedback, because they are brand new and, you know, you want to know. And then everybody should lay down on them themselves and just kind of feel the differences between the beds and then the other beds, absolutely. Yes, sir.
Do we know, are there 10% spiffs normally?
Yes, 10%. The spiff, I'm sorry, he asked if the spiff was 10% normally, and the beds are 10% spiff.
Now, you say this heirloom lift on your softer beds pretty much eliminates body impressions?
Yeah, the tufting on the beds,
Right.
which is part of the lift and the free-floating flares, it's going to reduce or minimize body impressions on all of the beds. And even if they're soft, all of the beds still have cotton. So this year they're much more substantial feeling. They don't feel. We made a bed last year that I thought was kind of like a marshmallowy feel, and that it kind of eliminates it. It's still super soft on top, but it gives you that support from the cotton and the coils. Yes, sir.
How many different levels do you have? I mean, I know we have one level. I know you have at least one above it. Is there something?
So we have, there's, I mean, we do a hybrid collection. This is the line that Mathis picked out for you guys, but we do a hybrid collection. We do one called the carbon collection that I was talking about with the wools and the cottons, and then we make Kluft beds for Bloomingdale's, which would be, those go up to about $50,000.
Can we order?
50. 50. I want to make sure I heard you.
000. Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Do you do custom beds? Do you do custom for like celebrities and things?
Well, they have before for certain people. but mostly it's just, there's a lot of people that just go into, you know, the sleep shop in Malibu, and Cindy Crawford just bought a bed there. Elon Musk just bought his 5th bed there. So they're great beds. I mean,
like for size, like say you're a professional basketball player. Because I think
that would kind of be like a call me and I'll, you know, I don't want to promise anything, but yeah.
$50,000.
Yeah.
That's what I was getting
Want that 10% spiff up.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
And do you do low profile box springs
Yes,
as well?
we do a 9-inch and a 5-inch.
Do we have those in stock?
Yes.
Do we have
We
lows?
probably do. As you know, I try to get a adjustable base in every single mattress first, and so therefore, we know they're coming, so therefore I just got a box spring out here type of thing, but they do have those.
Everybody always asks if our mattresses are thick. You guys carry other thick ones. Regular sheets are fine. They don't need any special sheets or anything like that.
Any other questions, folks?